Let's go with the convolution sum of the two infinite sequences. What are finite sequences? We have seen, see here in the previous session we have seen finite sequences like this. So this is one sequence which we called as x1 of n. Okay, another sequence we took and we called that as x2 of n, but this was starting, this was the origin for this. So such signals, if we deal, they are called as finite sequences. Finite sequences. Fine. But now what we are seeing is for two infinite sequences. This is two finite sequences. So we'll be seeing two infinite sequences now. Understand? So the problem statement is again the same. Find the convolution sum of following sequences. So which are those sequences? See here, x1 of n is equal to u of n and x2 of n is equal to u of n minus 3. Understand? Now these signals have been given in terms of the unit step function, and the unit step function is what? A infinite function. This is finite function which has got 3 samples. Here it has got 4 samples. But what are the number of samples here? Infinite number of samples. Where does this start? This starts at n equal to 0 and goes till infinity. Where does this start? This starts at n equal to 3 and goes to infinity. Whether it starts at 0 and goes to infinity and starts at 3 and goes to infinity, it's all same. They're all infinite length. Understand? So what we need to be doing if such signals are given. So everywhere you should remember the example that I gave on the cricket ground. The people from dugout are coming to congratulate the people on field, and people on field have made a line and they are standing stationary. They are not moving. Only the people coming from the dugout to congratulate them are moving. Understand that? Now, since we have to find out the convolution, okay, what we need to do is this: y of n is equal to x1 of n convolution sum x2 of n. Now, this is just for your understanding. Just listen to me very carefully. This is a small adjustment we made for simplicity. Understand? So this is u of n, this is shifted version of u of n. Okay, for layman, that means for the learners who are still not very good with these skills. Okay, which is easier to understand? Anybody? U of n is easier to understand, or u of n minus 3 is easier to understand? U of n is easier to understand, because to understand u of n minus 3, one should know, okay, this is shifted signal. After we know that it is shifted signal, whether it is left shifted or right shifted is the additional information that we need to have. So in that sense, u of n is quite simple, and it says that it starts at n equal to 0 and goes till 1, goes till rather infinity. It's 1 from 0 to infinity is what we understand, but this is 1 from 3 to infinity. Okay, so something extra knowledge is needed here. So comparatively, we can say x1 of n is easier than x2 of n. Fine. So what I suggest you, this is my suggestion. It's not there in the textbooks. It's just my suggestion. It is something that I have found out. Okay, and I feel that this is what is going to help you. Fine. So what we shall do when we are finding out the convolution sum is, let's have a easier signal as the second signal and little comparatively difficult signal as the first signal. That means I want x2 of n to be on the left hand side and x1 of n to be on the right hand, and that is possible also. Why? Why? Because what? It is commutative. Since convolution sum is commutative, okay, have u of n minus 3 as first sequence and u of n as the second sequence. So this is just for your note, need not be written in the examination. Okay, so what I do is this. So y of n, I'll keep x2 of n first. Okay, this I'll convolve with x1 of both should give you the same answer. Okay, but this is what is going to help you. Fine. Now let's write the equation for this. So therefore, y of n would be summation k ranging from minus infinity to infinity x2 of k into x1 of n minus k. So this is what I wanted. So if it is x2 of n minus k, there is already n minus 3, so it would be n minus k minus 3, so it's going to pose little more problems. So it's, since this is straightforward signal, I would like to shift u of n rather than shifting u of n minus 3 further with this minus k. Understand? That is the idea. So now how does this look like? So therefore our y of n would now look like this: k ranging from minus infinity to plus infinity. Okay, x2 of k is what? x2 of k is u of k minus 3. Wherever n is there, you need to just replace it by k. So u of n minus 3 would now become u of k minus 3. So this is u of x2 of k. x2 of k means u of k minus 3. Okay, x1 of n minus k means x1 of n minus k means u of n minus k. So that needs to be written here. U of n minus k. So call this as equation number 1. So this equation we shall play with. Okay, understand here which is stationary and which is moving. Okay, let this be our stationary signal. That means it is not moving. Let's understand. And this is the signal which has got both n and k's is a moving signal. Stationary and moving. Understand? So let's write the stationary signal first. Okay, so what is that we need to do? Fine. So let's write the stationary signal first. So what we are doing now is very important. So if you just learn this, you're through. You can solve any problem. So just understand, I'm first writing the stationary signal. U of k minus 3. Can you now tell me what is u of k minus 3? Anybody? This is not n, mind you. This is the mistake that people do. This is k. Fine. Now, since the signals are already substituted in the equation for convolution sum, okay, we have to be plotting the signals with respect to k. And u of k minus 3, shifting u of k to the right by 3 units. So 0, 1, 2, 3. So it starts at 3. See? And you can write any number of samples, your wish. And it goes till infinity. So this is 4, 5, 6, 7. Understand that? This is u of k minus 3. So can you tell me what is u of n minus k now? U of n minus k. Okay, so let's understand that everybody just see that here. I'll be drawing that for you. Everybody see u of n minus k is, okay, this. I'll write u of minus k first. U of minus k I'm writing. So u of minus k is this, mind you everybody. So this is u of minus k, which goes from 0 to minus infinity. Okay, this is u of minus k. 0, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, minus 5. So this is k. Now what is u of n minus k? Is this. Everybody just see this. U of n minus k is shifting u of minus k to the right by n units. Understand that? Shifting u of n minus k, sorry, u of n minus k, shifting u of minus k to the right by n units. Understand? So if you shift this to the right by n units, everybody just see that this is very important. Okay, if you shift this to the right, okay, now it should go and stop till n. N minus k means you should push this signal towards right by n units. I don't know what n is. So this is my n. This is my n minus 1. Okay. And this is your 0th signal. Okay. Minus 1 sample, minus 2 sample. Okay. So it is this. And it is 1 throughout. So this is what is u of n minus k. So this particular thing that we have done here is something that you will have to understand for every convolution sum problem. Understand? This is u of minus k. Then how it would look like if I shift this u of minus k to the right by n units. If I shift u of minus k to the right by n units, okay, so this is how it is going to look like. I'm shifting it towards right by n units. I don't know what n is, so let's write that as n units. If you shift it by n units, so it will go and stand it at n. I don't know what n is. N could be any number. Is it okay with you, everybody? So this is something one needs to understand. Very important stuff. Okay, if you have any doubts, you can ask me now regarding this. You've understood this, everybody? So this is u of minus k being shifted to the right by n units. Understand that? So let's bring that u of n minus k below this. Okay, so this sketch needs to be very neat because this is what is going to help us throughout the solution. So this is k. Fine, this is 0th sample. This is first sample, 0, 1, and this is nth sample because we have shifted u of minus k to the right by n positions. So this is minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4. So this is your u of n minus k. So till this, is it okay with you, everybody? Is it okay till here? Fine. Now here also we have samples, not that we don't have samples. This is n minus 1 sample. This is n minus 1 sample. Let's not write that. It's not necessary actually. Okay. It's not necessary. If you write this much, this is sufficient. Now, this is what is the range of this? Range of this is from 3 to infinity. Okay. And it is 1 from 3 to infinity, mind you. And what is the range of this? The range of this is minus infinity to n. Is that okay with you? The range of this is what? 3 to infinity. The range of this is minus infinity to n. Something very important. So that's why the first chapter is so very important, wherein we learn shifting, scaling, okay, time scaling, amplitude scaling. So all this we already have seen. So if your that knowledge of operations on signals is good, then this would not be a problem for you. Now, everybody just listen very carefully. So when do you think these two signals will overlap? Now this signal that is this signal represents the players standing on the ground in a line, but they are not moving. This is immobile, stationary. See how stationary signal is this. U of n minus k is moving signal, and it is moving in this direction. See, it is moving in this direction, mind you, from dugout. So when do you think this first player will handshake with this first player? Is the question. Okay, when do you think the first player here would handshake with the first player here? For that to happen, what should be value of n? Can you tell me now? Anybody? For this first player to handshake with the first player here who's moving from dugout, okay, what should be the value of n? Take a try. He's standing at 3, right? He's standing at position 3. He's standing at some position n. I don't know what that n is. Okay, for these two players to be what handshaking, okay, he'll not move, so he should come to the place where this person is. So that means this person should come at 3 so that these two will handshake. Is that understood, everybody? Yes. For the first player to handshake with the first player here, this player should come and stand at 3. So for this player to come and stand at 3, this n should be equal to 3. That means when n is less than 3, suppose this n comes and stands at 2 here, or n comes and stands at 0 here. So there are no players handshaking. When n is less than 2 or less than 3, when n is less than 3, no overlapping, no players are handshaking. You understand that? So that is case number 1. What is case number 1? Case 1, let's understand that. Case 1 is when n is less than 3. When n is less than 3, this n is at 2 or 1 or 0. So do you think the overlapping is happening? Do you think the overlapping is happening? Yes or no? Somebody can respond to that.
No, sir.
No, it's not. Okay, for the overlapping to happen, for the first player to handshake with this player, this n should be 3. So that means when n is equal to 3, the overlapping starts. And when n goes greater than 3, there are more players handshaking. When n is equal to 3, there is one pair of players handshaking. When n is greater than 3, there are multiple pairs of players handshaking. So that means when n is greater than or equal to 3, then there is overlap. When n is less than 3, there is no overlapping. When n is less than 3, no overlapping signals or sequences. No overlapping sequences. Let's not say players handshaking here. Players handshaking is an example that I've taken, which is very apt here. No overlapping sequences. Since no overlapping sequences, okay, y of n, okay, is 0 for n less than 3. So this is one thing that we have obtained. N less than 3, y of n is 0. Very important understanding. Okay. Since there are no sequences overlapping, y of n would be 0. So when would this y of n will have some value? These will have some value when these two are overlapping, and for these two to overlap, n should be greater than or equal to 3. Okay, now let's say this case 2. Case 2 is when n is greater than or equal to 3. See, when equal to 3, then also there are players handshaking. When n is greater than 3, then also the players are handshaking. So in that sense, when n is greater than or equal to 3, okay, overlapping, the sequences are overlapping. Sequences are overlapping. Sequences are overlapping is fine. Now, what is the overlapping range? Therefore, range of overlap. Therefore, range of overlap. What is the range of, if you say, yes, there is a overlap, okay, in what range the signals are overlapping? Can you tell me that? From where to where the signals would be overlapping?
3 to K.
Huh? What is it?
From 3 to K.
From 3 to K. No, from 3 to K, there is no overlapping, but because this n has just moved here, say, this n comes and stands somewhere here. Okay, I know it starts at 3, the overlapping starts at 3, okay, and ends where it will not, I have not told you this n has gone to K. No.
3 to
From
n.
3 to n, sir.
3 to n, very good. See, the starting point of overlap is this. Because if you want to catch hold of that starting point in this, no, it's not possible to find that. So starting point needs to be understood from stationary signal. So this is the starting point of overlapping. But ending point needs to be understood by seeing the first person here. How far this person has moved. Everybody understand that? So if he moves till here, he's anyways n, right? If he comes and stands here from 3 to n is the range of overlapping. Okay, so if you have to show that by continuous time signal, see, this is 3. Okay, and this is another signal. I'm just showing you the continuous format. Okay, and he is n. Understand that? There are samples, not that there are no samples. There are samples. Okay, now where to where the overlapping is? So in this range the overlapping is. Understand? So what is the overlapping range? The overlapping range is from 3 to n. Everybody understand this? Yes. So here, once we understand sequences are overlapping, we need to know what is the overlapping range. And from this exercise, we have known that the signals or the range of overlapping is from 3 to n. Fine. So now this equation 1 would change accordingly. So what is overlapping range? Overlapping range is the limits of summation that we assign here. Understand that? Overlapping range is the limits of summation that we assign. So what it would look like. Therefore, equation 1 implies that y of n would be summation k ranging from 3 to n. Understand? Very important. Now, earlier we wrote it from minus infinity to plus infinity. Now it goes from 3 to n because 3 to n is the overlapping range. And in that 3 to n, from 3, if it's go till n, what is the value of u of k minus 3 from 3 to n? It's all ones. And u of n minus k is also ones. Everybody understand that? So in that overlapping range, u of n and u of n minus k or u of k minus 3, u of k minus 3 or u of n minus k, the values have not changed. They're all ones. They're all ones throughout because they are unit step functions. Understand that? That's why the both signals there will take values 1. Understand? Therefore, it is as good as writing k ranging from 3 to n 1. Now, what is the sum here? What is the sum that we have obtained? How many ones are there if we add it from 3 to n? Anybody? How many ones are there if I add it from 3 to n? Okay, let me ask you this. So it's creating some problems, right? N minus
3.
Okay, n minus 3. Okay, that is one answer. Let me keep that here. N minus 3 ones are there. If I add this one, okay, from 3 to n, I'll have n minus 1, n minus 3 times 1. Okay. Now, how to understand this? If anybody has any other answer, you can give me. One says it is n minus 3. If any answers, you can give me. Okay, so let's see if it is n minus 3 first. So how to understand, how we can understand this better is, so instead of seeing it from 3 to n, if we see it starting at 0, it's always good, right? So when would this become 0? When would this become 0? If you drag it to the left by 3 units, it will become 0. So if you're driving it, okay, let me write that first. Okay, so let's say this is your 3. Okay, then this is your n. Now I'll make it start at 0. I'll drag this to 0. Now the same signal will start at 0. So that means where this has come now, where this has come now, if this is 0, where this has come, if the same signal is dragged to the 0, this is n minus 3. Understand that? So in other words, we can do this here. This y of n, okay, is equal to, now I'll add, see here, k is equal to 3 minus 3 I'll do, and here also I'll do n minus, that is when this would become 0. Isn't it? So for 3 to become 0, I need to subtract 3 from here. If I subtract 3 from here, I have to subtract 3 from here also. So that is this. Everybody understand that? Okay, so this means that I have dragged, I want to see this signal start at 0 instead of starting at 3. Okay, so if you want this to be starting at 3, this would end at n minus 3. And why that will not change the sum? So it only talks about the number of ones, whether it goes from 3 to 1, 3 to n, or whether it goes from 0 to n minus 3, the same number of ones are there. So it will not make a difference. Understand that? So it is k ranging from 0 to n, 0 to n minus 3 times 1. Now can you tell me how many samples are there? How many ones are there? Can you tell me? It starts at 0. Here, it starts at 0. Okay, 1, 2, and it goes on and on and on. And here you have n minus 3. How many ones are there? These are all ones. How many ones are there? Can you tell me now? Anybody? Go on.
n minus 3.
N minus 3 ones are there? No. It's not n minus 3 is wrong. N minus 3 ones are not there. How many ones are there?
N minus 2.
N minus 2 ones are there. Why? See, it is starting from 0. If we start at 1, okay, let me show that here. If you don't have this, sample, then it is n minus 3 sample. Okay, so if you have this 0th sample, so it is n minus 3 plus 1 number of samples, that is n minus 2, because along with n minus 3 samples, we have the 0th sample also. So it is n minus 3 plus 1 samples. Understand? So that's why it is as good as adding 1 for n minus 2 times. So it is n minus 2. So y of n is n minus 2. Okay, for where to where? for n greater than or equal to 3. So this is what is important now. So let's summarize the result summary. Okay, so what is that? Therefore y of n is what? 0 for n less than 3, because there will not be overlapping, and it is n minus 2 for n greater than or equal to 3. So this is what is our y of n. Okay, so the same result can be written in terms of unit step function. Can anybody tell me how to write the same result in terms of unit step function? Can anybody tell me how to write this in terms of unit step function? You should be able to do that by now. Y of n is n minus 2. From where to where we are saying? Y of n is n minus 2 from 3 to infinity. And what is the unit step function which is 1 from 3 to infinity? Which is the unit step function which is 1 from 3 to infinity?
U of n minus 3.
That's it. If you multiply this signal by u of n minus 3, it is as good as having this result. Okay, so it can even be represented as this. It's n minus 2 from 3 to infinity, right? So it's as good as multiplying n minus 2 by a function u of n minus 3. So this is how we have to represent the what? Output. Sometimes they'll ask us to sketch the output also. Sometimes they'll ask us to sketch the output. Here they have not asked. Sometimes they may ask us. Okay, so if they ask us how to sketch, if they ask you will sketch, otherwise you will not. So how to sketch that y of n? Y of n, you understand, is a discrete time function. Okay, so it is n minus 2, it says. So it is 0, 1, 2, 3. It starts at 3, right? So what is 3 minus 2? N minus 2, it starts at 3. So 3 minus 2 is 1. 4 minus 2 is 2. 5 minus 2 is 3. 6 minus 2 is 4. Understand? So 3 minus 1, 3 minus 2 is 1. 4 minus 2 is 2. 5 minus 2 is 3. 6 minus 2 is 4. And it just goes on and on and on. So this is your y of n. Understand? So the output is with respect to n, but when we plot these signals that we have inside the convolution sum equation, it's with respect to k we need to draw. So u of n here is not the x-axis. U of minus k is the signal. U of n minus k is shifting u of minus k to the right by n positions. Understand that? Let's see the second problem now. In the second problem, for convolution sum, they have given us this. What is it? X of n, they have given to be alpha n, alpha to the power n into u of n, and h of n they have given to be u of n. So these two signals they have given. Fine. So what will be the question? Find the convolution sum would be the question for this. Find the convolution sum. You have to find the convolution sum of this. See, the signals can be given anyways. Earlier in the first problem, it was given as x1 of n and x2 of n, right? x1 of n and x2 of n they had given. So here they are giving it as what? Alpha per n u of n. Sorry, they have given it as x of n and h of n. Okay, and in the previous problem, it was u of n was the first signal, u of n was the first signal, u of n minus 3 was the second signal. Okay, so we interchange this because u of minus 3 had greater challenges of shifting and all. Fine. Here, this is u of n, this is alpha power n u of n. So this is simple signal, this is comparatively complex signal. So let our complex signal be our first signal. Understand that? So let's go. And what is this alpha power n here? Alpha power n is which basic signal is alpha power n? We have seen a power n, right, in discrete time. What is a power n? Anybody? Which type of signal is a power n? It is exponential signal, mind you. And if a is greater than 0 and less than 1, it is decaying exponential, mind you. So this is how the signal would look like on both sides of 0. So this is your a power n. And if a is greater than 1, it is what? Growing exponential. It is growing exponential. So if a is greater than 1, so such a signal is this. On both sides, it would be there. Understand? So this is an exponential signal and depends on whether it is growing or decaying will depend on what is a. And here they've given us alpha to be what? See here? So it is this with alpha greater than 0, less than 1. This is also is given. Okay, so this is alpha power n u of n, right? In this alpha power n u of n, alpha is greater than 0 and less than 1. That means this alpha power n u of n is a decaying exponential. It's a decaying exponential. So this is this. So in place of a, they have just given us alpha. That's it. They can even give a, not at all a problem. Fine. So let's go and take this simple problem. Okay, so we are finding out y of n. Since x of n and h of n are given, it's x of n convolution h of n. And what is the equation? It's minus in summation k ranging from minus infinity to plus infinity. X of n would become x of k, h of n would become h of n minus k. Fine. Now substitute this. If this is x of k, this is alpha power k into u of k, and this is u of n means it is u of n minus k. Okay, so therefore y of n would now look like summation k ranging from minus infinity to plus infinity, alpha power k into u of k, okay, into u of n minus k. So call this as your equation number 1. Fine. Now we have to sketch the signal. With respect to k, we need to sketch, because once these signals are into this equation of convolution sum, okay, the x-axis is k. Can you see the sketch of this now? What is the range of this alpha power k? Anybody? What is the range of this alpha power k? Tell me. This u of k tells us the range. Instead of u of n, we have just written u of k. N is replaced by k, but its properties will not change. So in that sense, u of k ranges from 0 to infinity. So alpha power k also ranges from 0 to infinity. Understand that? So in that sense, we shall see what is alpha power k looking like. I've told you the range already. Let's not waste time to see a right u of k and then see this. So range is 0 to infinity here. So here also the range is what is the range of this? This is range is minus infinity to n. Range is minus infinity to n here. We have seen that earlier. So it is shifting u of minus k to the right by n position. Shifting u of minus k to the right by n position. Just work out with this. You'll understand. Fine. So let's do this. So the first signal we are telling that it ranges from 0 to infinity. Okay, so that u of k tells us that it ranges from 0 to infinity. So alpha power k is what we are sketching, and this is k. So alpha power 0 is 1. Alpha power 0 is 1. Alpha power 1 is alpha, right? So let's say that is some alpha. Okay, I don't know what is that, but I understand. So this is what is going to happen to it if we keep on giving them the values. So this is how I can write. Let's not be bothered about what is its values. Let's not bother about that. What is its value? Let's not bother. Suppose alpha is 0.5. Suppose alpha is 0.5, because alpha they have told that it is what, greater than 0 and less than 1. We can take that as 0.5. And if it is 0.5, alpha is 0.5 to the power 0 is 1, 0.5 to the power 1 is 0.5. Okay, 0.5 to the power is 0.25. We can do that, but there is no necessity of writing it. There's no necessity of writing it. But we should understand whatever is alpha put to the power 0 is 1. And from there, since alpha is less than or equal to, since alpha is greater than 0, less than 1, okay, it's a decaying exponential. So what we have written is this: alpha power k u of k. This is what we have written. Fine. Now let's get to u of n minus k. What is u of n minus k? Let's write that now. So let me write u of n minus k somewhere here, so that you will understand. What I'm writing is u of n minus k. These are the players who are coming from dugout, mind you. Okay. So the range of this is minus infinity to n. Minus infinity to n. So we shall not try aligning this. Let it be anything. Fine. Or let me push that. If you want me to do that, let me just push this properly. The other parts are also getting selected. No worries, I'll take care of that. Okay, so here is 0. Now let's talk about this n. When would there be no overlapping? Can you tell me now? When would there be no overlapping? When n is what, there will not be no overlapping. Can anybody tell me that? So let's not write this as 0.5, 0.25 and all. It's understood. Let's not take alpha as 0.5 also. Yeah. Can you tell me when would there be a no overlapping case? Case 1. So that is no overlapping case. Tell me, when would there be a no overlapping case? When n is
less than 0.
Very good. When n is less than 0, there will not be any overlapping. See, these are players who are standing there on the field and they are not moving, and these poor people are walking out from the dugout. Okay, and when would the first person meets the first person here? When this first person
0.
here would meet the first person here, when n becomes 0. When n becomes 0, this first person meets this first person, and from there on, again, when n is greater than 0, then also the people are there handshaking. Yes, but when would there be people not handshaking? When this n has not come at 0. Okay, so then there is no overlapping. Fine. So let's understand when there is no people handshaking, when there are no players handshaking, there will be no players handshaking when this n is less than 0. Understand? So that is your case 1, no overlapping range. When n is less than 0, when n is less than 0, you should not write a less than or equal to. If you write less than or equal to, it's gone. When it is equal to 0, there is one pair of players handshaking. So that means there is also the handshaking happening. Okay. For handshaking not to happen, this n should not come at 0. That means this n should be somewhere here. Understand that? So no overlapping. When n is less than 0, no overlapping signals or sequences, anything. No overlapping sequence. So therefore, equation 1 implies that our y of n is 0 for n less than or equal to, sorry, it's not less than or equal to, if it is for n less than 0, that makes a very big difference. Okay, so this is the first case. In the previous case, it was n less than 3. Why? It was n minus 3 we were looking at. See, we were looking at n minus 3 in the previous case. So n should be less than 3 for no overlapping. But here we have a signal, stationary signal starting at 0. Okay, that's why n has to be less than 0 for no overlapping. Fine. So can you give me the second case? Case 2. What is case 2? What is the overlapping range? When
n is equal greater than 0.
When n is equal to or greater than 0 is the next case. Okay, sequences are overlapping. Okay, overlapping happening, overlapping is there. Since overlapping is there, what is overlapping range? Therefore overlapping,
0 to n.
Yes, therefore overlapping range is, see everybody, when this n goes beyond this, beyond 0, there are more number of people handshaking. Okay, from which range to which range the overlapping is happening or handshaking is happening from, means it is from 0 to n. Let me just again write that, okay, in solid lines. So this is what is the stationary signal. Okay, and this is what is the signal who is moving. Okay, and this is n, and this is where the overlapping is happening. Okay, so overlapping range is 0 to n. Fine. So 0 to n is the overlapping range. So therefore, how equation 1 would change now? Therefore, equation 1 would imply that y of n, okay, summation, what? K ranging from 0 to n. Alpha power k is there. And u of k is there. What is u of k in that particular range from 0 to n? It's all ones, right? U of k is 1. U of n minus k is also 1. But alpha par k is not 1. So let's write alpha par k and rest 2 signals here. This is 1 anyways, and this u of n minus k is also 1 throughout. It's all ones, mind you. It's all ones. But here it's 1 and it goes on decreasing. That's why we need to write alpha par k. In the previous case, it was just 1 in under this summation. Okay, 1 1 because alpha par k was not there. Since alpha par k is not 1, we need to write alpha par k, and another signal is what? 1. Fine. Now alpha's value is what? Alpha value is what? Less than 1. Alpha is greater than 0 and less than 1. Okay, now there is a standard summation that we need to understand. Everybody just see this. Okay, suppose we know that We don't know, but let's write. We know that maybe you are knowing, I don't know. If you have, we know that if you have, okay, k ranging from 0 to n, and you have a power k, okay, then it can be given as 1 minus alpha to the power n plus 1. It's not alpha, it's a we have taken, right? If we have a, it is this, we write 1 minus a to the power n plus 1 divided by 1 minus a. Okay, this is true if a is not equal to 1. If a is not equal to 1. If a is equal to 1, how much is this? Can you tell me? If a is not equal to 1, this is what is the standard summation we have. If a is equal to 1, okay, how many ones are there we are adding? 0 to n. Huh? If a is 1 here, if a is 1, the summation looks like this. K ranging from 0 to n, 1. So what is this equal to? How many ones are there and how many times we are adding it?
N times.
No, n plus 1 times. It's starting at 0. You should not forget that every time. It's starting at 0, right? Starting at 0 and ends at n. It is 1. So how many number of ones are there? Okay, n plus 1 number of ones are there. So if you add n plus 1 number of ones, you'll get n plus 1. Okay, so it is n plus 1 if a is equal to 1. If a is not equal to 1, it is this. So everybody understand that. Therefore, I can write my y of n as what? What? 1 minus, okay, alpha to the power n plus 1 divided by 1 minus alpha when n is greater than or equal to 0. So let's summarize it now. Summarize this, we shall end. We are already 5 minutes into your what? Break. Fine. So therefore we can say your y of n is what? 0 for n less than 0, 1 minus alpha to the power n plus 1 divided by 1 minus alpha for n greater than or equal to 0. So this is one way of writing it, or we can write it as what? Anybody? In terms of u of n, it is 1 minus alpha to the power n plus 1 divided by 1 minus alpha into u of n. So this is how we can conclude the summary. So this is summarizing the output. So when it is 0, when it is non-zero, when it is overlapping, when it is not overlapping. This is what I had to give you today. Fine. Yes, you can leave now.